tickle in my throat. Nesta has other things. Adult content. We'll talk more about Farrah and Reese in this book.
I thought you were
later.
going to say we'll talk more about what's in Nesta's throat. Hey guys, welcome to Kristen and Katie Read. I'm Kristen.
I'm Katie.
And we like to
read. It's time to talk
The time is now.
about
I like that you're doing
the
this.
sexy book.
It's so sexy.
All right, guys, let's get steamy.
Today, we're doing it.
We're talking about it. We're diving deep, more so on our own opinions.
Yes, we are going to be discussing A Court of Silver Flames by the one and only Sarah J Maas. Is it getting hot in here?
Hot in here, but we're gonna keep our clothes on so we can talk about the book.
So, we're assuming if you landed on this video, you have already read this book. So we're not going to be doing like
An in-depth plot summary.
we're not going to do a big plot summary. We really just wanted to get on and talk about all of our favorite things from this book. Kind of just break it down on our takes, what we liked.
And then predictions for the next book.
Yeah, predictions for the next book. We really want to hear like what you guys liked about this book, what you think is going to happen. There's just so much to discuss. But with that being said, just like our girl Sarah J Maas, we're going to take our lead from her.
Yes.
The novel is adult, therefore this review will be an adult review.
Adult content.
Adult
coming.
content. Spoiler-filled, spoiler-filled, adult content-filled. Prep your ears now, folks.
Yep. Officially starting right now. What can they
You can
wait
expect to hear about the seed.
It's coming.
The seed is coming, pun intended.
So yeah, we're throwing out fucks and cocks and all of that stuff. So
Masturbation.
an in-depth dive into the masturbation.
Just like Nesta.
The House of Wind? No, the House of Masturbation.
That's right. Think about that.
There's so much sex in this book, and there's a shocking amount of masturbation for how much sex they're having.
Right. Katie and I made a bet beforehand about how many sex scenes we thought would be in this book, and we were both so under. It's insane. Let's start with what is the theme of this book, Katie?
So you and I have talked about it, and we really think that this is just a journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance for Nesta, but most importantly, it's a book about overcoming trauma.
Yeah.
So the theme would be like, you know, if you're at your lowest, the only way to go is up. You just need to be committed to make the climb, which is super paralleled for Nesta.
Oh yeah.
Because they climb Romeo in the Blood Right, and her whole story just revolves around saving yourself.
Yeah, I would say self-love, also accepting yourself. Self-love, I don't know, would you just say saving yourself? Is that a theme?
Yeah, definitely. And because Cassian has to learn that too, because Cassian is a type 2, I think.
Oh, do you?
Definitely a helper.
Yeah.
And so I think for him, he saw Nesta and was just you're hurt, I want to help you, but realized that if she couldn't make this journey and love herself, no amount of his love was going to convince her that she was worthy of a good life.
Before we get to the sexy steaminess of this book, can we please discuss the mate of it all? Because it happened, folks.
Yep.
Nesta and Cassian
are mates. They're mates. And I thought that it was obvious. It's funny to me that it was a reveal in this book.
I always felt it felt like they're supposed to be mates, but then I thought she was trying to make a point that people could just fall in love that fast even without being mates. It's just, how rare are they really that all three sisters have mates?
But I think it had something to do too with the cauldron.
Yeah.
All of them were made. So, because Farrah was saved by all the High Lords.
Yeah.
And I think that her and Reese were more fate. You know,
yeah.
And then I think with Nesta and Elaine, since they were made in the cauldron, and like everything comes from like the cauldron and the mother, I think
that it was like would have mates.
Yeah, and
that makes sense.
But I think that we're gonna.
How wild though that Nesta's mate is her sister's best friend / brother. Really.
I mean, I married your husband's best friend.
Right, and that's really weird.
We're rare.
We're a rare breed. My God, I hate us. I love them. I think they're great together. It's just like there's so many other courts and stuff, and so like I get it for stories. I do this in TVs and movie and shows where it's like you pair off with the available main characters. It wouldn't make sense if they didn't, but
right. And
sometimes it's a little convenient.
I agree. I mean, and I agree. I just think it's hard too, though, if you like give one couple this like all-encompassing, beautiful, like everybody wants to find that in their lives kind of a connection. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you want that too? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I just like, or would it feel like less if they weren't mates?
I don't know.
You know, I don't know either. And it doesn't bother me that they're mates. It didn't add a lot for me, other than the fact that like I knew that Cassian really wanted them to be mates.
Yeah.
So like, and we're just looking at that, like, great, I'm glad that they found each other and that they're mates, and that's great. We also, it wasn't shoved down our throats every 5 seconds.
God. Have you met my mate? My mate's here. Have you seen them? This is my mate.
He looked at his mate, and I was, God,
oh my goodness.
It's fine.
It's
fine. We've already talked about the bet. Let's jump in.
Yeah, let's talk about sex baby.
Let's talk about all the good times. I don't know, like, how much we're allowed to sing.
A little bit. So, wow, we were promised that this would be her steamiest book yet, and I don't think I fully knew what that meant.
I agree.
And we've read erotica, and this was still like, I was like, holy moly. I'm shocked.
This was enough that I was like, oh good, we're back. But
We're
it wasn't
back, baby.
It wasn't so much that I was like, is this all they do? Like,
I know. This book is huge book. Huge, just like Cassian.
Just like Cassian. We're told repeatedly, Cassian is so large. But Azrael has the widest wingspan.
So what does it mean?
What does it mean? Does that mean Azrael's even bigger?
I can't handle it. I don't know if whoever Azrael's going to be with can handle that. Wow. I love that it's, of course, the build-up, right? Where it's like they're thinking, the dual masturbation scene where you're going back and forth and they're both thinking about each other.
I mean, it's a lot.
Whoa!
It's a lot. How did that house not explode? I mean, like, the sexual tension is just out of control.
Insanity.
The fact that, like, the first time they really make out and Cassian goes. She's like...
And Cassian goes.
Cassian ejaculates.
Oh, yeah, because it's like she gives him an over-the-pants hand job.
Oh, yeah.
What do the kids call that? An
OT.
OTPJ.
Over the
OTPHJ.
Yeah.
OTPHJ. Can you hashtag that, or do you think you get blocked for that?
I don't know.
I don't know what you can say and what you can't say.
But
so
he
just finishes in his pants and he's distraught.
He's horribly embarrassed, which, like,
hilarious.
Good. He should be.
Then they proceed to their masturbation. Or is that before or after their masturbation?
No, I think they masturbate after that.
Yeah, because they gotta get it all out. Gotta get it all out.
I mean, like, and not only... They must have an absolutely insane sex drive. Because
he does it 3 times.
Yes, he says that he had to find release 3 times before he could, like, go to training.
Before he could sleep.
Yeah.
Like, what? What's gonna happen to you?
Like, Jesus Christ.
Control yourself, Cassian.
My
like, goodness.
Out of control in that house.
He's also, like, hundreds of years old.
Also, the house is sentient, and they're just fucking all over that place. Like, how rude. Good thing that house likes romance novels.
For real. So then she gives him...
No, he returns the favor.
He returns the favor. And she thinks purely physical. They're like,
she thinks, just... No. She thinks that they're going to do it. And then he's like, check you later.
Check you later.
She says the just sex thing whenever they actually do it for the
first
time.
So he pays her back so they're even. And then they decide that they will partake in...
No, then she blows him.
I thought that was before. Is that after?
Yeah.
Then she gives him a blowjob under the table.
At the
which
table.
Is, wow, one of the most graphic things I've ever read.
And the amount of, like, desire for her to have his dick in her mouth.
Right.
Is
I
unreal.
need to know, are people just dying to swallow? Is this what Sarah's telling us?
I don't know. It's also, like, I really like that Cassian and Nesta are,
Swallow.
like, on the same...
No one's gonna be able to watch this.
Oh my god. Okay, no. I like that they're like on the same level of how they
Desire.
like to have sex.
Oh yeah, they
You
both
know,
like
like,
to have rough sex.
Rough, really like passionate sex.
Yeah. So they've hooked up
Great.
/ gotten off to each other multiple times before we finally get the let's be fuck buddies. Nothing more.
Nothing more.
It's just physical.
And it's such
Physical.
a great trope of like a girl being like, I don't want a relationship, I just want sex. And the boy being like, I love you.
I love you. Which is, I don't know if I like it the other way.
No.
Like, I don't know if I'd want a guy that's like, I'm just trying to fuck you. And the girl's like, but I'm in love with you. I just
yeah,
don't.
no, that's like sad.
Yeah, I
It
don't
makes
like
it
that.
sad.
Yeah.
But
Double standard. Sorry, folks.
sorry. I don't know why, but you're right. I wouldn't like it the other way.
Because I obviously identify with the female character and I like to be the one in control with the cards and the power. So for me to
Right.
be the one to be like, I will decide what this is and you will take what I give you. I think that's why I like it.
I just like it because I know that she thinks she's just not worthy of having him.
I know. So are we
So
done
it's
talking
like-
about sex or are we now talking about sad?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sorry. I still want to talk about sex. I still want to talk about sex.
Okay, I would like to throw this out there.
What?
Nesta's desire to have
Okay.
Cassian's seed, that's
Okay.
right,
Okay. I knew we were-
inside her. I need everyone to know this.
Stop.
This is a biology lesson. I don't even know if biology is the right word. This is a science lesson.
You know I hate this fact.
Cum lives inside of you for up to 5 days. Nesta is just walking around with cum inside of her for 5 days.
No, it leaks out of her.
Oh! Dripping down her legs. She loves it. Ah! Does she? Do people like that? Tell us if we're wrong. I
Follow
don't.
me, swallow me, drip down the side.
Okay, obviously Megan Thee Stallion and Nesta could hang out.
100% Megan Thee Stallion and Nesta could exchange fuck
This is
stories.
a hot take.
100%.
Who is Nesta's our Earth spirit animal? Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Done and done.
Before we move on, I do want to talk
Do
about
you have anything else to add about
the
cum?
sex. No,
Science?
I moved on from that. Thank
Okay.
you. The amount of times I've heard that fact. Unreal.
I'm just saying. Who
Um,
wants to be walking around with that?
I really enjoy their the mating whenever Cassian realizes that they're mates. That
Yes.
sex scene where there's like gold like string or light or whatever. I just think it's really beautiful.
Yes.
Because I like she makes the distinction. Nesta thinks about it and she's like, sometimes we fuck and sometimes we make love. And she's like, sometimes we do both, but sometimes it's this and turns into this. And it's like, yeah, that was like a love making scene.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about new additions to the book.
Yes. Okay. Gwen and Emery.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I love them.
Love them. There's already, like, I wanted to know so much more about Azriel, more Cassian, Lucian, which we still don't know a ton about Lucian. There's so many characters that I was like, there's so much to learn about them, but I didn't feel like anything was lacking. Like, these characters are going to play such a big part in the future books, and I love that they're Nesta's friends.
Mm-hmm.
Nesta has her own thing outside of Feyre's circle, outside of Cassian's circle, which is the same group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're hers. They're fully and wholly hers. I love the friendship ring.
The
that
friendship
brings
bracelet.
The friendship bracelet that brings them all back together. It just makes you think of, like, all of the, like, best friend things you do. It's like, you
Oh,
take
yeah.
this half, I take that half. Like,
Or
I
like
love that.
they swap books
Yes.
and like read together. I love whenever they cut the string and wear it around their heads.
Yes.
I love the Valkyrie storyline.
Yes.
Incredible. What an addition.
Yes. I love that we get so meta with the smut. I love that she's like, you know what? This is a fantasy book and we will also discuss smut.
Yes.
There are no rules anymore. Do whatever the heck you want.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too.
I love it. I also am a fan of books in books, so I wouldn't have hated like getting
I know.
a book storyline, like one of Nesta's books that paralleled their book. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I love that
I
stuff.
mentioned that Nesta is reading From Blood and Ash.
Ooh,
Do you not?
I love Poppy.
I for
She's
sure
so
think that's
violent.
what she's reading.
Yeah, I really like in this book that Emery and Gwen and Nesta get to be so powerful
Yes.
and strong. And like, it always seemed like Feyre was kind of an exception. Like,
Mhm.
they had to train her. She had all of the court's powers and she could do all this stuff. And then it was like Nesta and Elaine during the battles was just like there.
Yeah.
And so I agree that women who do politics or whatever in a book like this are just as powerful as the women that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Sansa is
Yes.
a freaking force to be reckoned with in Game of Thrones, and she doesn't ever pick up a sword. But I prefer seeing women kick ass.
Yeah. I think it's just more fun to read.
Right.
Well, and
So-
it's something like that you want to believe that you could do, but you couldn't. Like, it's just they're so
Right. And just
badass.
I think that seeing them train and having training be
The whole book.
such a long process.
Yes.
And really having us buy in and want to see them succeed as a unit, individually, and then the blood right to just like really form their trio.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
I am curious to see what else we'll find out about the Valkyrie.
Me too. I mean, like, book prediction far on. The last battle better show Nesta leading the Valkyrie into battle.
Well, okay, you know how like when they have their slumber party and she like the house makes like a mini Pegasus or something?
Mhm.
Like Pegasuses are brought up multiple
lot.
times. Like she's flying in on a freaking Pegasus.
Yes. The Valkyrie are getting Pegasi.
Yeah.
100%. Because Hellion has them.
100% that's happening.
Yeah.
I will freaking die. I love it so much.
I know. It's gonna be so great. And then whatever the fourth trove is, she better get that.
What do we think it is? What do we think it is?
I don't know, because I kind of thought it was like a bone hilted dagger.
Yeah.
Because she said she saw like bone under the cloth.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, it could be so many things. I mean, it could just be a bone.
I
Like the bone carvers.
was so
Bone.
shocked. I thought that this whole book, I don't know if you can see here, it has the mask on the front cover. Thought the whole book was about just this one trove.
I was a little bit ahead of you, and they'd already found the harp, and you
It's
were like,
crazy.
and you were like, so this book's gonna be about the mask,
Mask.
and I was like, mm-hmm.
The fact that she finds all
All
three.
three. And we discover there's a fourth one,
Yeah, they have, by the end of this book, possession of all three.
and she made 3
New
new swords or new
the
weapons.
magic weapons. So when that happened, I was like, wow, why is this going so fast? Why did they have her make 3 weapons that haven't existed for hundreds of years all at the same time? But it's because they were going to diminish her power by the end of the book.
Yeah, which
She's too powerful.
although I hate because I love a powerful girl.
Yeah.
I do get it. I mean, she took more than nature would have allowed.
Yes.
So I understand that part of her, the parallel part of like her despair and like self-loathing was also this thing that like she couldn't control inside of herself.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously if she found balance at the end, her power would need to as well.
Yeah.
So I get it. I just like loved her being a badass.
I also kind of like, what's his name? Eris? I like that they're like, Eris, you're... Go ahead. Put the straw in your mouth. Let it drip down your throat.
hate you.
I kind of like Eris.
I
Like, I love like a douche that you can redeem.
I also
He's not unredeemable.
I also like that we were introduced a storyline that we took as fact, and now we're learning there are things we don't know.
Yes. I love that he's like, the worst of you. He's like, it's like you want to be the worst version of yourself.
Yeah,
I can't remember the exact wording that he uses, but I feel like Eris is definitely going to be redeemed.
agreed.
Well, I thought it was the most insane thing that Farrah and Reese were like, well, we'll just let him take one of the most powerful weapons that hasn't existed forever, just to show that, like, we're on the same side. What?
Oh.
Excuse me?
No, I thought, no, they gave
They
it.
give him the dagger!
Yeah, but they give it to him to see if he is taken if it will protect him from being mind controlled.
Right. But also,
because he knows too much.
But also, like, then he just has this really powerful thing.
Right.
Wow, we didn't even talk about the point at Tamlin. Nesta marking people.
I love it.
With a point.
I love it.
She's such a legend.
I
It's
know.
like, don't let her point at you.
Literally.
People are like dodging her fingers. Like, whoa.
People are literally like, get that hand out of my face. Like,
It's wild.
I'm afraid of you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Nesta. Have I mentioned that?
I love it, like we talked about the theme of, like, you have to accept yourself and love yourself.
Mhm.
She can't fully accept the love that Cassian has to give her until she loves herself. And her and Feyre can't make up until she also allows herself to believe that she deserves to be forgiven. She knows that while she finds Feyre annoying, and she's not wrong, Feyre is annoying, Feyre kept her alive.
Yes.
Like, Feyre really was the best of them for so long.
Yeah, that she stepped up whenever
No one else
Nesta was filled with like anger and grief,
Yes.
and Feyre was the one that kept them alive then. And so I do like that we see so much of Nesta's guilt of that, and like, yeah, it would probably be hard to be around someone when every time you looked at them you just saw your own failures.
Yeah.
So I think that was really great, and I do like that, you know, Nesta messes up in this book too.
Mm-hmm.
And we always talk about with Nesta, where's the line?
Yeah.
What's like the line of being unforgivable to like the things that you say or do? And I definitely like that in the end that Nesta's brought back fully into the fold for saving their baby.
Yes.
And like, it's like perfect. Rhys can literally never hate on her again.
Right.
Absolutely never.
Like,
Because
Nesta was
she
willing to...
saved all three of them.
Yes, and she would have done anything. Like, she would have laid down her life to save them there at the end.
Yeah.
And the way she just, like, fully covers her body and saves her, I think is really, really beautiful.
I do too. This book made me like Feyre and Rhys more because we weren't stuck with them.
Yes. But let's discuss how outrageous it is that they made a pact that if one of them died, the other one died. How selfish. They are the rulers of an entire court, and you're already going to lose one of them, so why not both of them so there's not a leader left?
I do love that the rest of the court is disgusted by it.
What
like,
on earth?
I mean, that's
You
just
die,
so
I
cool.
die? What is this?
It's so cruel to the people that love you.
To tie your lives together like that? Like, oh. So now we'll have our friends mourn doubly because we can't handle it? Get out of here!
And then, in this case, they would have had to mourn their child, too.
It is the most insane
Like,
thing
Nesta
to me.
saves all of them from all of this grief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's wild.
It's insane. Well, everyone else is standing around being fucking useless.
Yeah.
Literally, that scene, I was just like, how is a C-section so dangerous where magic is involved?
Right. It's like, it's kind of one of those things you just have to overlook and believe that, like, this is the only way.
Yeah, because
When,
I was like, wait,
isn't-
you're a magic healer.
Yeah.
Can't you just...
Yeah. Let's also discuss how they really outline again that there are 26 worlds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's important. Sarah J Maas really wants us to know that her universe there's 26 worlds. We know 3 of them.
Yep.
Is she going to give us 23 more? Probably not. But are we going to get
Crossover.
crossovers? Or is it just like a fun thing to say, these are the worlds I've built? In some small way, they're connected in a universe. Like, why? Like, why connect them?
Yeah, why are they connected? Why, Throne of Glass spoiler, does Aelin see them?
Right. I think it's just a fun nod to be like, she was still in the middle of writing the court series. And they're both Fae. They're Fae. It's all about Fae.
All 3 of them are Fae.
So she's like, I'll have them do that. And then we didn't even know about Crescent City, and to see a city
in the future.
Yeah, like, that was a cool nod that, like...
Is it important?
Yeah, and then for it to come back up and be actually explicitly discussed.
2 plot lines.
Yes.
I mean, because the harp has 26 strings. And then Gwen's mint, or the person that Gwen works for in the library, Meryl, is studying the multiverse.
Yes.
And she believes that there are 26 worlds.
Right, and then it makes me think in Crescent City with the library and, like, the history of the books and stuff, like,
And they know that they're a part of a multiverse.
Yes.
Like, angels came from another dimension, right? Or another world, right?
So, I don't know what it means, but I think it's very interesting.
Let's talk about Amren first. So annoying in this book.
Let's discuss Amren and Nesta.
I loved Amren and Nesta in A Court of Wings and Ruin, the last one. Their relationship was like her saving grace. Mm-hmm. And so for the Starlight Frost, for the novella to like watch their relationship crumble, and then for Amren to be so fucking annoying in this book.
Well, she's really mad at her because she feels like she let her down. And I feel like she's one of the main reasons her disappointment is one of the things that snaps Nesta back.
I agree. I just feel like at every turn, Amren acted out of anger towards Nesta instead of really thinking about what was right.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, voting to not tell her about the weapons. But
it's because they didn't trust what she would do, and it's so sad, and her reaction is totally justified. But I agree. It's so crazy because we talked about this a lot, where we thought it was ridiculous that all of them are like, you've been acting out for a year, when they acted out for decades.
Amren's like 15,000 years old.
Right. And like, while Nesta in the end is like so thankful that they did it because she's like, I needed that push or she never would have gone through it. She's now the person she wants to be. That's all good and fun, but like, why? I don't know. It works out, so it's fine, but I still don't know if it was the right.
Yeah, like, why did she need to do it on their timetable?
Right.
Whenever none of the other ones, except for Feyre, who's in the middle of a war and needed to get over her shit. Mm-hmm. I get it. Like, that one made more sense to me, of like, you have every High Lord's power. You can't just be out in the world doing,
Right.
Whereas I guess, like, Nesta with the Cauldron's power, too, it's just hard. It's just hard whenever all of them admit that it took decades or 20 years or whatever of, like, doing everything wrong and still having a family to come home to.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Azriel and how fantastic he is.
Azriel's great. We 100% didn't love him as much as the internet seemed to.
Well,
in the original trilogy.
The internet misled me a lot with the original trilogy anyways, where it's like, you're gonna love these characters, you're gonna love these sisters, you see all these fans art of them like holding hands and stuff. Like, the internet is like, here's all these really amazing characters. I'm like, we don't really get to know Azriel in the original trilogy. Like, I don't know why.
Other than that, he's like a sad boy.
Right, like, nothing for me to be like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this character, I want to draw fan art about him.
Or that, like, he's my book boyfriend.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like, I liked him in Cassian. I loved Cassian more, but he was just, like, a more likable person, I think.
Right. So, I do like that we finally get to know him a little bit better.
Because I love him in this book. I think his character's so interesting to me.
I love his shadows. I love his power.
I love that he has, like, beef with Illyrians in a way that Cassian and Race don't. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really interesting, that he's combating, rejecting his own culture.
Yeah.
But also, it's like in his DNA, it's like woven into him. Like, whenever Nesta comes out with the mask, and Cassian and him both bow, and Cassian's like, Azriel's Illyrian, he understands like what you do in front of real power.
Nesta, just casually thinking about having a three-way.
Oh my god. How did we not talk about
with
that?
Azriel and Cassian!
Whenever Nesta thinks about having
who hasn't thought about it?
Absolutely.
The internet is here for that three-way.
I mean, they would be beautiful.
Is she hinting at the fact that she's gonna write a three-way in the next book? I feel like a prediction. Fantasy books are going in the direction of three-ways. Are they not?
They are. No, they 100% are. As I've told you, they're following me.
Yeah.
The idea.
Baby thinks she sees three-ways everywhere.
Everywhere I go, there are threesomes. And I just, it's so hard for me because I feel like I escape into books to see people find, like, their soulmates or the love of their lives.
Right.
Whereas, like, in, spoiler for Shadowhunters, but, like, there's a throuple.
But they are, like, saying that they're a throuple.
Right. Soulmates. And, like, so like, they were meant to find each other together. And so it's, like, just the idea of throwing out, like, we could just, like, fuck and then be family.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see, but put a pin in that one. Put a pin in that three-way.
I definitely get it. If you're not planning on, like, marrying Cassian or Azriel, yeah, get them in bed together.
What a treat.
Wow. But for them, they're like brothers.
That wingspan And that girth? Wow!
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
3
God.
ways everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, predictions for future couples.
Yes, so Emery and Moore, will they get their own book? Or will they be, are there only going to be 2 more books? What are we doing?
Yeah, how many more books will there be? I think there's going to be at least 4 more books.
4 more books? You think it'll round out to a 5-book series, this second series?
Mm-hmm.
I could see that because I also, like, was unsure what we were building towards because now the other human old queen or young queen that turned old and then now is erased from existence.
We pulled a Court of Thorns and Roses and took out the person who we were fighting the whole book.
Right, so she's no longer a player, but we still have these other bad people. So, like, what are we building towards? What's the final battle? What's the big bad? There's a lot of players on the board. It definitely feels more Game of Thrones-y, where there's lots of different political battles. You're not all building towards one big bad. Maybe we are, but there's lots of things
that will happen before that.
Yeah.
Well, like,
so Moore and Emery could be their own book.
Yes, which I would love to see female mates. I
know
that we're tired of mates,
to.
but I mean, like, we've only seen same-sex mates.
Well, it just would not make sense to me if they didn't.
Right. And I would just love it if Moore and Emery got together because then she would be with an Illyrian too.
Yes.
And I would love that.
So we think Emery and Moore could be mates.
An Emery prediction, really quick.
Yes.
I think once her and Moore, if they, like, get their own story, I think Moore will, like, try and find a way to fix her wings so that Emery can fly.
Oh, that would be... Okay, well, I'm going to cry just thinking about it. So I love them. I even though they don't really... We barely get a line about them.
Barely. But the internet,
enough.
We've held on. The internet and us have really held on to that kernel. We will fan the flame of that.
Azriel and Gwen.
Here for it.
We don't think Azriel will be with Elaine.
So here's the thinking here. A, Azriel was in love with Moore for 500 years.
Jesus Christ.
Elaine is clearly a rebound.
Such a sad boy. Yeah.
Clearly a rebound. I don't think that...
He likes people
Gwen,
he can't really be with.
Right. Which is so in his character of, like, a self-destruction pattern.
Yeah.
Like... something in his past is keeping him from being happy.
Yeah.
So he's attaching himself to people he don't love him or he can't have.
Yes.
He can totally be with Gwen.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I think him and Gwen would be great.
Both.
Again, her being with an Illyrian is
great.
He's the one Katie pointed out, I forgot, that arrives and saves her.
And whenever her temple is attacked, he's the one that gets there first. Him and Moore.
God, I'm gonna cry!
I know. And, like, in the book, they just, like, you know, we were talking about this earlier, there are so many parts, so subtle, like, such subtle little lines about how his shadows react to Gwen and how they react to Elaine and how they react to, like, other people in the inner circle and, like, the fact that his shadows, like, interact with Gwen.
Yes. So then I feel like it does make sense that Elaine and Lucian... But then we get into some real tricky stuff where it's like, if she doesn't want to be with him, but the mate bond, I don't know,
because it's clear that Lucian does feel a bond with her.
Yeah, like he cares for her.
He cares for her.
I believe Sarah could write it to where they could fall in love, and I would want them to be together.
Yeah, also...
And the flower stuff.
Yeah, he's from the spring court. She's a gardener. They're so boring. They can be together.
Right, and they make a point all the time to say, like, she does not belong in the night court.
Right. That, like, Nesta, Feyre, Moore, Azriel, Cassian, like, they belong there.
Yes.
And they make a point of saying, like, Elaine looks out of place. The Court of Nightmares is overwhelming to her. And it's just like, great, go be in the flowers.
That's 3 couples.
Yeah. I think this is my dream, is that the very last book would be about all of them.
I think that would be great. I also feel like maybe Eris is gonna be, I don't think he would get his own book, but I think he'll get a love interest or a big storyline. I know maybe they would do an Amryn story. She could have her own book maybe, or she's the main person.
Yeah, but she's already in love.
She's already with her person.
I like her at very end.
I also could see, Tamlin might get a redemption arc. I really think he might.
I do too. It's always been weird to me that, like, Elaine wasn't more in line with, like, being a love interest for Tamlin. He is, like, the ruler of the spring court. It's literally spring there all the time.
Kitty.
Yeah.
I literally had that same thought.
Yeah. I know, right?
I feel like Sarah J Maas is going to pull something so far out of left field for Elaine because it's just like, where does she fit? She's trying to misdirect us so much.
She's so boring.
Or because there's so much misdirection and it's actually just going to be her and Lucian. I either feel like it'll be something totally crazy, like she'll be with like not Lucian or Azriel, but like Tamlin or something, or Eris or something.
I mean,
or it'll be like exactly what you think it's going to be. Like it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I just like firmly am now in the camp. I mean, I didn't really want her and Azriel together, but like I 100% do not want Elaine and Azriel together now. No. That ship has sunk. Let's sail away on our new ship.
I was like, what are we sailing away on? We're at the bottom of the ocean. That's it.
It's like the sea serpents. They burn their ship. They don't need it anymore.
Oh
They're taking a new one.
They're so wild. Okay, so let's do Goodreads ratings. Katie?
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5, for sure.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I loved this book.
I love this book too. It is so crazy how big it is. Just like Cassian.
Unbelievable.
And I was wondering if like the color orange would play some significance. Does
pink play a role in A Court of Wings?
Probably. But I can't wait to see. I wonder if the other troves will be on the other books.
I wonder if they will too. I think it will be very telling if the harp is on the next book. Then I think it'll just be a trilogy.
Yes, that's true.
You know?
I don't know.
Can we briefly discuss the bullshit that is all of these exclusive editions?
Yes, okay, let's talk about bonus content.
Put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Put your bonus content on the internet.
Katie and I went to both Books A Million and Barnes & Noble today to try to find our bonus stories so we could read them.
Now, listen, we understand we didn't do our research and we didn't realize that they were very forward about having a limited supply.
But I just feel like
still,
it's a popular story. Everybody's gonna want these. So
yeah,
is it gonna be uploaded?
So we literally had to read like
a bullet point
summaries of the bonus content because we can't find it anywhere.
Which again makes you ship Azriel and Gwen,
right,
from their story at Books A Million. That's out of stock.
Perfect.
It's fine. I'm not upset about it. So we love this book. We can't wait to talk more about it.
We're very excited. I mean, like, fingers crossed that the next book is Azriel's and Gwen's.
I feel like it will be. I feel like that's why he's one of the bonus stories.
Yeah.
Until next time, though, keep taking that potion because at the rate that Cassian and Nesta are fucking, there's going to be so many babies out there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But they can have them because she changed their bodies to birth the wings.
Hilarious.
You know what I don't love reading about? Childbirth. Gross!
Yeah.
I read books to escape reality, not golly. I was having so many Twilight flashbacks about how a birth would kill Feyre.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
Not what you want.
No, not what you want. No, but I don't feel like the scene in this one was too long. It was more like everybody. Like her labor had been going on while she was in the blood, right?
Yeah.
So I liked that we kind of swooped in for the end of it.
Yeah.
And for Nesta to save them.
Right. That is our review of A Court of Silver Flames. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Katie.
And this is Kristen Katie Reed.